friends, welcome to SRIRAM's IAS. Today we are going to discuss about ransom attacks. What is mean by ransom attacks and how can they destroy a very big firms. Also this topic is very important from UPSC perspective as it is came under cybersecurity. So in this session we are going to discuss about ransom attacks and their preventive measures and what is a weak password and what is a strong password. Now, why we are discussing weak password and strong password? Because of this news. A 1 week password, a 1 week password, 700 jobs lost. How a ransomware attack destroy 158-year-old UK firm. A 1 week password leads to ransomware attack which leads to 700 job lost and closure of a very big firm. That's why this topic is very important and we are discussing it. As we know, there are many types of cyber attacks like malware, phishing attack, ransomware attack, denial of service attack, SQL injection attack. In this particular session, we are discussing about ransomware attacks and why they are called ransomware attacks and what is their modus operandi and how they can damage a very big firms and also their potential to create a national havoc or national crisis situations. Now friends, what is ransomware? A ransomware is a malware, a malicious program or malicious software which intend to destroy or damage your data. Okay, in ransomware, as we know spywares are created in order to only access information. They don't mean to harm or destroy your data. In case of ransomware, a malicious program created to encrypt all your data file information including system files, which ultimately leads to denial of your operation, your services, your own data. In that situation, a victim has to pay ransom. Ransom, a large amount of money. That is also in a cryptocurrency format, which makes the hackers untraceable. That's why these ransomware attacks are very deadly. They can shut down entire operation of company. They can also lead to closure of the firms if ransom is not paid. And that's why this kind of attacks are called ransomware attack, because these attacks are carried out for the ransom, for the large amount of money. And generally hacker group target companies, hospitals, school and government organization which have a potential or which have a capacity to pay such a large amount of money, large amount in a crypto format. And also most of the time these ransomware attack often accompanied by the threat of leak of sensitive data, private photos, private videos, etc. So friends, in a ransomware attack, objective is to encrypt your data, encrypt your system, and in order to access your own data or your own system, you have to pay ransom, a large amount of money to the hacker. That's why these kind of cyber attacks are called ransomware attack. Now let's discuss their modus operandi. Now, how these ransomware attacks carried out or they work? They work in 5 stages. First one is access, infiltration, encryption, ransom note and impact. Most important phase is access. How they can get access to your system or access a big firm's IT structure. For that purpose, they use various kind of social engineering methods like phishing or tricking IT help desks. Also, they use weak password. The case study which we are discussing in this video is related to 1 weak password. That's why we are going to discuss what is weak password and also how to create a strong password. Now, once they got access to your system, they silently install their malicious software, a malware, which encrypt all the information located in your IT structure, in your computer, in your system, including data access. And they block your access to that data, that system, that information. In order to get back your access and information, you need to pay ransom, and that is also in form of crypto. And what they do, they halt your operation, data loss or reputation damage. Like once the news spread in media, then most of the firms or companies lost their reputation, leading to the low confidence of customer in their operations. So friends, this is modus operandi of ransomware attack and this is how these ransomware attacks are carried out. A victim has to pay large amount of money. The case study which we are discussing is related to KNP Logistic. UK is very old, 158-year-old firm, and one weak password, a single 1 weak password led to that ransomware attack. And that ransom attack is carried out by Akira ransom gang. They owned it. First, they got access because of 1 weak password, and they encrypted all the data information including system files, and they demanded ransom. This firm KNP Logistic refused to pay any ransom, or they don't have a capacity to pay that large amount of ransom. So what leads? That leads to the shutdown of company and loss of the 700 jobs. Now, as you can think of, or as generally anyone can think of, that a firm, such a big firm, they must have invested a large amount in their IT security infrastructure. Yes, they have invested a lot of money in their cybersecurity infrastructure. They have trained staff also for cybersecurity purposes, and they also have insurance for such a kind of attack. Yes, friends, now in a market, many insurance companies offer you insurance against any kind of cyber attacks. This firm also has insurance, but till that wasn't enough to pay ransom. That leads to the closure of this firm because of one ransom attack, and that ransom attack occurred because of 1 weak password. That's why this case study become important from UPSC perspective and from general knowledge perspective also. Now, what is a weak password and what is a strong password? The password here you can see 123478 is a weak password. Okay, like same way we use our own mobile phone number or our date of birth in passwords. These are very weak password which can be broken easily. Now, it is a very strong password. Now, how to create a strong password? The general rule is your password, okay, use at least 8 to 12 character. 8 to 12 character including upper and lower case letters. Also, symbol, a special characters like hash, @ and also don't use any personal data. Any personal data like date of birth or your name or your home number or your vehicle number. Don't use your personal data in your password. Same way, don't use sequential number. Sequential number, just like here 1 2 3 4, don't use any sequential number, and don't use any dictionary word like here spider cat. This is how you can create a very strong password. So for a strong password purpose, we need 8 to 12 character, where you use a special character, lower and uppercase letters, numbers, not in a sequential manner obviously, and don't use any dictionary word. This is how we can create a very strong password. So friends, don't use easy password, weak password. They are easily breakable, and in order to break those password, the hacker don't need any complex coding skill. They don't need any technical skill. They generally employ social engineering methods. Social engineering methods like which we have seen in a digital arrest case. We will discuss about it. Now let us look at the statistics of ransomware attack 2023 UK. We are looking at UK statistics, but my friends, I guarantee you in India we also have similar kind of statistics. That is that ransomwares are growing exponentially day by day. And in UK, in 1 year, 19,000 ransomware attacks were reported. Unreported, that number may be large. Now, that data breach affected 6.5 million members, and its frequency 30 to 40 attack per week. It's a very large frequency. That's why UK government is planning to ban the paying of ransom. So friends, if government banned the payment of ransom, in that case, if any company encounter any such ransomware attack and they don't pay ransom, it may lead to the closure of that firm. It is a very serious situation, and in India we also have to discuss it, and we have to deal with this kind of situation. Now, why ransomware attacks are spreading so fast? As we have discussed earlier, that to carry out a ransomware attack, you don't need any kind of complex coding skill or special technical skill. A skill acquired by the normal video game player are more than efficient to carry out a ransomware attack. Why? Because the ransomware kit, the malicious program are easily available on dark web, and you don't need a special skill. You can employ social engineering skill to gain access to the system, or you can trick the people. Now, social engineering is like a digital attack, calling someone or tricking the help desk operator in order to gain access to the system. So friends, social engineering like calling based on your interest, as we have know that CBI officer is calling, ED officer is calling, or the post office parcel attack. These are the various kind of social engineering method employed by the hacker to gain information so they can have access your own system. Now, also many businesses, those who were attacked by those ransomware attack in the past, silently paid their amount to avoid any bad press or loss of reputation, which encourage these hackers. And also these kind of incidences which are unreported may lead to the future big attacks. Now friends, how can we create a defense or preventive measure in order to protect ourselves from this kind of ransomware attack? So first important step is strong password. As we have discussed how to create a strong password, so we must have strong password. And these preventive measures are not only associated with ransomware, but they are generally associated with cybersecurity. Whatever activity you do in a cyberspace, please follow these measures in order to protect yourself from any kind of cyber attacks. Not only ransomware attack, but spyware attack or any kind of cyber attacks. Now, you must have a strong password. Then regularly update your password. As you may have noticed that generally banks जो होती है वो जनरली आपको हर मंथ पासवर्ड चेंज करने के लिए बोलती है. वो इसीलिए दैट यू मस्ट हैव अ स्ट्रॉन्ग पासवर्ड एंड रेगुलरली कीप चेंजिंग देम, अपडेटिंग देम. Then next is multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication means in order to have access your own system, just don't rely on username password, use multiple factor like OTP, okay. Then regular data backup, it is very important. As we know in a ransomware that malicious program, generally what they do, they generally encrypt your data. So if you have a data backup, then they can't affect your operation and you can simply refuse to pay the ransom amount. Same way, train your security staff. Security staff means cyber security staff, and have updated antivirus, firewall. And same way, you can employ ethical hackers in order to audit your security system, IT security system, and your whole IT infrastructure. So we can employ ethical hacker to test against any kind of ransomware attacks or cyber attacks. So this is how you can prevent yourself, or big firms can prevent themselves against any kind of cyber attacks, including ransomware attack. So from this whole session, what are the key takeaways? First is a 1 week password. A single weak password can destroy whole organization, and for that they don't need any complex technical skill or coding skill. They most of the time use social engineering skill, and social engineering is a real and rising challenge. Now, prevention is cheaper than recovery, and most important is transparency and accountability. Government must make a rule to force each and every entity, including private entities or public entities, to report any kind of cyber attack. So government can create a regulatory measures or legal measures to protect these organizations from these cyber attacks. So friends, I hope you found this video very interesting and informative. Based on this video, you can write your mains examination questions, and also you can protect yourself from any kind of cyber attacks, including ransomware attacks. Before I close this session, I like to tell you that SRIRAM's IAS offer a one-on-one free mentorship session. So friends, take full advantage of it. नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन में एक लिंक दी हुई है जिस पर आप क्लिक करके श्रीराम्स आईएएस के वन-ऑन-वन मेंटरशिप का पूरा फ़ायदा उठा सकते हो. सेम वे दोस्तों, आपको यूपीएससी प्रिपरेशन में हेल्प करने के लिए श्रीराम आईएएस ने और एक यूट्यूब चैनल लॉन्च किया है जो एक्सक्लूसिवली यूपीएससी आंसर राइटिंग मेंस पर्सपेक्टिव डील करता है. सो इट्स श्रीराम्स आईएएस यूपीएससी प्रेप. सो फ्रेंड्स, आप उस चैनल को भी सब्सक्राइब कीजिए। उस चैनल पर भी हम ऐसे ही इंफॉर्मेटिव डिस्क्रिप्टिव वीडियोज़ के साथ मिलते रहेंगे। टिल देन, थैंक यू वेरी मच, बेस्ट ऑफ लक।